Yeah, thank you, Matthias. Last man standing. So I'm Oliver. I'm not from the Android TV business. I'm representing the DACH region for Google's advertising business, formerly known as DoubleClick, now Google Ad Manager. And I have the task first to keep you here in the room and not leaving for the airport. But keep in mind we have the Q&A session afterwards. And on the other hand, to build the bridge between the Android TV topic discussed here and the different elements and the advertising topic on the other. I think at least 2 full sessions were based on addressable TV and how to make money with television, but I think in any kind of session there was a certain nuance of either data exchange, churn through AVOD, but also quality. So I think this is the biggest challenge we are all faced with, not just to control the quality of the contents we're delivering to our customers, or you are delivering to your customers as telcos, TV OEMs, or OTTs, but also to make sure that the quality of the advertising is in the same way given than for the content. Because if you do not so, you just lose your customers. So very easy figures here for the end. So 1 out of 3 will disappear when you either have a bad ad experience in your app or especially even on big screen. So what kind of challenges are we faced with? So especially for the user, of course, this has all to do with latency and buffering, which to a certain extent is accepted nowadays, as we learned also from Sasha this afternoon. But still, of course, if you want to have a clear and clean experience, this should be not given. Playback failure is another thing. I think it happens nowadays more in apps than maybe in content, but still high challenge, especially when we go into the field of addressable TV, where we have to deal with high server loads and millions of users. Same for audio level. I think in Europe we're in the need for some legislation for that to make sure that this is now gone. But someone still has to deliver that and has to make sure that when you switch to an ad, that the audio level is not going up or down. And again, it's about the quality here. A real ad-related topic then, of course, the repetition of ads or the capping. So you should not get onto the nerves of your users. So either better show no ad than one ad too often. I think this is especially happening nowadays with video ads because the demand is not really given. So maybe there are not even enough video ads available on the demand side, so on the advertiser side. Other challenges, especially technical challenges for all of you, especially as operators and also app providers, the fragmentation of devices. We try to solve this with things you saw here also during this presentation with device cycles, new hardware, cheaper devices, so to make it easier for you also to roll out devices, to update devices, things like that. Scaling is something we definitely help with, and then again, the ad-related topic when it comes to quality content, the brand safety. So not all the time there's a need for an open auction or a deal-based model for content. I think we're here in the television world where classical deal forms are still commodity. On the other hand, they are not digitized nowadays, and this is what we are working on. So if you do everything right and provide not just a perfect content experience, but also a perfect ad experience, your users will also consume those ads, which results again in more revenue for you if you make use of a good advertising solution, because the advertiser sees by the measurements you do on behalf of the advertiser, so to say, on your devices, that the ads are also consumed. So how did we dive into this topic? So we do this all together with the Android TV team, of course, to create a perfect experience. But in general, these activities are loosely coupled because we, of course, also serve other devices or other ecosystems like iOS or TV OEMs with their operating systems. In general, we cut this into 3 pillars. So a seamless experience for the user on the one hand, and also perfectly done in a technical manner. A personalized experience then for the user, so that what I already outlined, this personalized ad experience is given, and you make a higher revenue by providing addressability to your customers, and therefore then a programmatic advertising model for your advertising partners. And last but not least, the measurement piece. I will not deep dive so much today into it, just a bit at the end when it comes to SDKs and how to integrate all that. So this is still a bit of an open topic in the different regions, as you can imagine. So there are now first steps forward with integrating either panel-based mechanisms with live measurements or the other way around, like it happened, an example, in Germany now between YouTube and the classical TV world. So going a bit into the aspect of delivering a seamless experience. So there are different elements how you can get closer to a perfect seamless experience here, which just help to make the ad insertion business more accurate. One very easy element here is what we're already delivering with our solutions, whether it's dynamic ad insertion or also pre and post rolls, is that we have one pillar in our service which is conditioning all the assets, which means that they are transcoded to the needs of the connected devices. So whether it's a small screen or a big screen. So basically an easy task, but if you have millions of users and millions of devices, someone has to do it, and this is part of what we deliver as a service when you would work together with us. Another element is the creative repository, or how those creatives, so the ad creatives, will be delivered to the devices of your customers. So on the one hand, of course, there must be one central repository. On the other hand, there's also an infrastructure in the middle, and one key element, an example here in the delivery of those assets are our YouTube global caches. So whenever you work with us on the addressable TV or programmatic TV side, you get this on top. So the YouTube infrastructure is used also to deliver the targeted ads, and not in the YouTube application. It's on your box then in your service. And last but not least, that's what we're still working on, also to create a common ID so that it's made sure that the right asset, the right advertising asset, is also delivered to the right ad slot. Again, has something to do, of course, with the quality of the advertising. The personalization aspect, of course, it's twofold. On the one hand, it helps you as a publisher, which you are, whether you're a broadcaster or platform provider with content, helps you to increase your revenue by being able to deliver programmatic TV on behalf of your advertising customers. What has changed, of course, so originally we had this 90-second ad break, or even longer. I think in Spain there are ad breaks up to 12 minutes. Not sure who's really consuming them, but they are there. But now they can be diversified. So it will be, in the near future already now, it's a mixture out of so-called old reservation business, where you make sure upfront by sending a fax to your publishing, from the advertiser, the publishing partner, that a certain part of the ad slot is reserved. And on the other hand, the other extreme would be then a marketplace-driven approach, which is maybe not the right approach for high-quality content, but maybe for the long tail, also in the TV channel business. And then there's something in the middle, of course, where digitization is just starting over. We call this Programmatic Guaranteed. This more or less mimics the good old reservation business, which you already know, and is pushing this into user interfaces, automated deal making, and of course also measurement and success measurement on that. Altogether, this, as you see here, this of course optimizes the yield for you as a publisher, with the introduction of different deal models than the classical reservation. You just create something like a marketplace, and with some demand and auction pressure, prices will be more diversified. And what this machinery, of course, has to deliver is also all this what we do nowadays manually, namely avoiding conflicts in between advertisers and examples, or not having two spots of two car manufacturers in one ad break. This is a very, very, very simple example. So this is how it then looks like. Already now, especially in the OTT domain, we deliver this already. So a mixture out of old world with reserved sponsorships, and an example here, two programmatic slots in the middle. And all this, again, automized. And what will follow during this year is also an example, graphical user interfaces, where you can just click together your campaigns, click together your ad break, and then send it into an auction or into a deal-making process with the advertisers. Important here, of course, again, the monetization and the yield. The brand safety in this high-quality content business must be given, but again, as not open auction-based models will come to the table automatically, it's up to you to select also your advertisers. That's also how programmatic business works with, an example, private auction, private deals. So now a deeper look into how we work together with the Android TV team. So as you can imagine, as on those boxes, you have a running Android ecosystem. It's also relatively easy to execute our SDKs from the ad manager business because it's practically the same SDK, so-called Google IMA SDK for the video ads and the GMA SDK for all kind of banner ads or display ads. And these are also, this slide, what is here outlined, the three monetization models for the big screen, which of course are also valid for the small screen, but just to outline a bit what can be done already nowadays. So we have one pillar which represents the classical display business, which is now also relevant on the TV. Just imagine in some of the markets, L banners or LANers on the screen being display ads on the TV, or you have the sponsored row in the Android TV environment. And the other thing are then the classical rolls, pre-rolls, mid-rolls, post-rolls, which can be delivered upfront to content, which can also be delivered maybe inside the UI instead of a display ad. And last but not least, the spot replacement, which is then the gold standard. And here again, we have to make a distinction between OTT delivery of spot replacement or so-called client-side ad insertion, where you have, in example, a cable signal or satellite signal at the set-top box or the TV. All these three pillars are dedicated to certain constituencies. So I would say the display and home screen monetization is more to the operators and also TV OEMs. The pre-rolls, everyone can do that, whoever owns the content or at least has some rights to put some ads around the content. And then the spot replacement is dedicated, from our perspective, to the content owner and the broadcaster. Of course, sometimes models change, especially at the moment, because when you as an operator are able to implement such a solution or have it available for a broadcaster, in some cases also the broadcaster gives you the task to do this on behalf of them. Maybe not the monetization, but at least the practical doing on your device. So which platform do we deliver those solutions? Simple answer for all the devices out there in the market, beginning also from non-Android TV set-top boxes. I just put here some example from my home country, so you can guess what they are from the three biggest operators or fixed line operators in the field. So for that we also have SDKs available also for the client side or the server side ad insertion. For Android TV, it's clear we use the same SDK as which is available also for the mobile devices. And then, as I said, on the apps, we have a full catalog of SDKs for iOS, Android, tvOS, Chromecast, Roku, and Fire TV. So it's a one-on-one solution here. Bit more technical slides, still not too much. I will just leave this out here today. Basically, this is again summarizing what we have available to integrate with an Android TV ecosystem. So again, starting from the home screen and display ads, which is still a roadmap topic, I would call it. So I will come back to you within the next 3 to 6 months on that. Pre-rolls, very simple, Google IMA SDK, and then the gold standard, the spot replacement, again subdivided into 2 fields. Server-side ad insertion for all OTT streams. It's playlist manipulation. I think it's one of the hottest topics at the moment in the market, easy to implement, so just ready to go. And then the bit more complicated topic, linear TV ad insertion on the device itself, using either cable signal, multicast signal, or a satellite signal, or even terrestrial, and you switch between the TV signal and the ad, which comes over IP and back. In Europe, this is, I think, closely bound together with the HBBTV standard. So, short deep dive into dynamic ad insertion again. So as I outlined, there are 2 ways of doing that, client-side, server-side. So Originally, this graphic was meant for just for the plain OTT service, but the result is the same. So you take content and ads and make sure that the ads are put into the content on your device. About the different methodologies, again, it's dependent on where your original content comes from. And here again, the separation of both. Again, it's up to you to decide in which topic you deep dive further in the next month. I can just recommend to be quick, especially as an operator. We see still a lot of operators who are a bit hesitant to start over with this topic because they do not see the opportunity. But as I said, I think at the moment there is an opportunity given for everyone in the field. The broadcasters are preparing themselves heavily, and the platform operators have the chance to be some kind of a man in the middle, take either a rev share for the delivery of those personalized ads or monetize their own content. And you need the left pillar for all your OTT properties, including apps, and the right pillar if you still have a classical plain old TV signal via DVB standards in your country and also a corresponding device out there in the field.